في 4 مسارات رقمية في النسخة الرابعة من هاكاثون جوجل تك ميت أب. علم البيانات في التجارة الإلكترونية، الذكاء الاصطناعي في مجال الصحة، البلوك تشين في قطاع النقل، والأمن السيبراني في المجال المالي، بالإضافة إلى الدورات التأهيلية الافتراضية والدورات التدريبية الحضورية اللي تساعدك في الحصول على جوائز مالية تصل إلى 20,000 ريال سعودي. شارك أبطال المستقبل وعزز من قدراتك الرقمية وخليك أنت البطل القادم.
Hey, hi everyone, can you hear me? Perfect. Let me share my screen and can someone please confirm if you are able to hear me well and if you are able to see my slides as well? Team, unfortunately, I will not be able to see the chat. So if there is something you're not able to hear me, or if in case you're not able to see my slides, please let me know. Perfect. So we are good to start. Let me quickly share my screen and I'll get started. So first of all, thank you so much everyone for joining us today for this wonderful session on data to insights powered by AI. So myself, Jitin. So I work as a C lead for analytics and Gen AI with Google Cloud with around 12 years of experience handling multiple sectors, public sectors, enterprises, corporates, and SMBs. And I used to handle various hackathon programs as a mentor, startup accelerators, and so on. And I'm specialized in data platforms, Gen AI use cases, AI adoption, data governance, and monetization, and also in terms of building the data estates and smart cities. So that is pretty much about me. So today's agenda mainly focuses on the following. So we will be talking about Google Data Cloud. We will talk about how the data can be analyzed in Google Cloud by different services. Then we'll be talking about the AI lifecycle, and we'll be specifically spending some time around how Vertex AI can help the e-commerce and healthcare. What are the different use cases we can build using the AI capabilities? And then we'll be finally touching upon the Gen AI powered models. So that is what we'll be discussing more or less in the next 1 hour. And I'll be happy to take some of your questions maybe in the last 10 to 15 minutes. So end of the session, you'll get to know how the AI is revolutionizing in data analysis phase. We'll be talking about the different techniques that has been used in AI as well as in that data services in extracting the different insights. We will talk about the real world applications and how the AI driven insights are helpful for the business. And finally, we'll talk about the different challenges, how that can be addressed. So with that, let us quick started our session. So I understand that most of you are planning to do a hackathon activities in the Google Cloud. So first of all, I just want to introduce about Google Cloud. So Google as an organization, we are known for data and AI, which is in our DNA. And you already know there are different services which is provided by Google to different parts of the world in terms of different services, starting from Android, your browsers, YouTube, Maps, Gmail, and so on. All the services, whatever Google provides today for its customers. When I say customers, it is not only corporate and enterprises. The individuals who even uses the Gmail is considered as customers for us. So all the services what we have today are hosted in the Google Cloud, the same cloud which we give for the enterprises and corporates. So you can understand the scalability and security of this particular platform, because like in each of the product when we mention today, either it can be Android or browsers on Gmail, each product has around 1 billion users. So assume that 10 plus products having around 11 plus billion users using the same Google Cloud is what we use for different customer projects as well, and even for the hackathon you're using the same platform. So I'll just get into the point. The thought behind having the data analytics and EA and Gen AI story, there are a few insights I wanted to share here. To start with, we understand today a lot of organizations are getting into the data projects. It is not something new. So we understood that 97% of the organizations or enterprises are investing in the data initiatives. We do understand that 91 percentage of their investment has drastically increased in data and AI projects. And because of the data and AI projects within the enterprises and organization, there are a lot of new roles keep on coming up within the enterprises in the data and AI field, starting from the analytics officers towards the chief data officers. But one key insight which we always noticed in this data and AI project is that only 20% of the models are getting into production, which means the remaining 80% of models or projects are not effective and they are not getting into the real usage for the business. Now we will understand why, right? So always the five question which comes up from the business is that, are we investing in AI fast enough? And are we having the right assets to build the solutions? Are we bringing all the data, and are we applying the latest AI technologies in innovation? We are also talking about, are we using the best infrastructure which can harness the AI solutions and in a very faster way? Then the important thing is, data projects or AI projects comes under the umbrella of bringing the data culture within the organization. So to bring the culture of data, we need to ensure that all our employees or all the team members are using a collaborative tool through which they can able to achieve or they can experience the data and AI. And finally, we also wanted to ensure, are these data secured, confidentially maintained, as well as are they protected? To answer all these five questions, we have something which is the Google Cloud. So Google Cloud provides, you know, importantly, four different elements. So we have data and AI cloud, then we have the infrastructure cloud, then we have the collaboration cloud, and finally we have the security cloud. If you ask me, are these different clouds? The answer is no. All these are the categories and which comes under the umbrella of Google Cloud. And finally, on top of all these clouds, we have AI innovation sitting on top of it. And finally, we have the sustainability. Today, Google is the first cloud organization who has brought in the go green concept in terms of making carbon neutral data centers, so that the customers will be able to ensure that they are saving a lot of energies, as well as they are also accountable for the sustainability. And the goal of Google Cloud is by 2030 to make all their data centers completely with sustainable energy to drive the data center. So today we specifically discuss about Google's data cloud, which is called a simple, limitless, and intelligent cloud. So I'll be discussing about four different elements. One is how to do the data engineering, how to analyze the data. Then we will talk about the AI machine learning, how to build different AI capabilities or predictive analytics capabilities around it. Then we will be talking about how the insights can be shown, which is your business intelligence or dashboarding capability. And finally, I will be touching upon the Gen AI capabilities, how all these data services are integrated and how you can make the data to get connected or interactive. So there are a couple of interesting things you should know when it comes to Google Cloud. So Google Cloud has been recognized by Gartner, Forrester, and IDC as the leader in the Magic Quadrant when it comes to data analytics, databases, and anything and everything related to data. It can be the data security or master data, all the almost all the elements of data and AI. So today within the Google Data Cloud, we provide multiple services. As you see in my screen, you have AI machine learning, database modernization, infrastructure, application modernization, collaborative tools, security, and smart analytics. So these are the different areas which comes under the bucket of Google Cloud. So I'll just tell you the reason why we believe that Google Cloud is best. Google, when it comes to the cloud story, we are not only acting as a cloud or a hyperscaler, we bring the story of one Google. So when I say one Google, what does that mean? Is Google is not only selling cloud, but also it provides services like maps, advertisements. It also provides services like trends, Google Flights. There are a lot of other services. So using these integrated capabilities, the customers will get the best out of the best. Then we bring the innovation across all our products. If you see our products today, all the products are completely enabled with AI, including Gen AI. So even in your personal emails, if you go today and check, you will see an option called Do It AI, which helps you in writing or automatically write the email responses as well as compose the emails for you. So that is an important thing. We bring the innovation in all our products. And as I mentioned, we are committed to sustainability. Our data centers are on Go Green. Now, let us get started in terms of data engineering. So what you currently see on my screen, this is at high level how the complete data cloud services looks like. In the bottom, you will be able to see the different infrastructure services. It is about VPN, the routers, logging, the identity access management, the compute engine where you can host your applications and so on. And the next layer is where typically all your integrations happen when it is data analytics or a machine learning or so on. So you have multiple options because each problem statement is different for different enterprises. Some of the times you will be working with batch data. Batch data is nothing but you can imagine the data which you're collecting throughout a time period, then you'll be processing it. Then you will have the streaming data, which is like on click on live data, you'll be collecting it. Then we do have processing capabilities like data proc, which is used for processing the data. Then you can see the BigQuery here, which acts as our data warehouse, data lake element or the service. On top of it, you can see the whole platform is helping the business in improving the various business strategies. It can be customer satisfaction, increasing the revenue, improving the operational efficiency, improving the sustainability, and so on. So depending on the organization to organization, the customers use the platform for achieving their different goals. Now, while we talk about data analytics pipeline, there are important things to keep it in mind. So I'm in any data projects, regardless of whether it is a Google Cloud or any other platforms or services, the data analytics project will undergo all these 5 phases of the process. You will have a capture process, you will have processing the data, then you have the storage, then you will have analyzing, then finally you will activate the data. So when we talk about capture, it is all about collecting the data, or you are bringing the data, or pulling the data, or somebody pushing the data for you. While we talk about processing, it is like, how you are going to do the pipelining, right? For example, are you going to apply some manipulation of data? That is what the processing is all about. Then you have the storage. So once you bring the data from the sources, it needs to get stored somewhere. For that, today there are multiple concepts available. We talk about data warehouse, data lake, data mesh, data mart, and different things. Basis on the business, we will take the decision whether it needs to be a data lake or data mart or a data warehouse or whatsoever it is. Regardless of whatever it is, in Google we have the service called BigQuery, which helps in terms of adopting all this lake, warehouse, mart, and so on. And finally, you will have the analyzing phase where, like, you will be applying the business insight or the business logics to get the different insights. It can be a prescriptive analytics or a descriptive analytics, and it will be able to give you the different reporting capabilities on top of it. And then we have the activate layer. All your machine learning, the reporting sits on this particular layer. Now, let us quickly see what are the different services available in each of this category. In the capture, which is called as the data acquisition layer, there are multiple services available. We have Cloud PubSub, which is mainly for collecting the streaming data, which is a real time, or like I can say near real time data. Then you have the data transfer service. If you have data which is available as a SaaS offering, you can use the service. Then in case you have data or sources which are sitting in on premises or in other cloud, you can use the storage transfer service through which you can bring the data to the Google platform. If you have IoT devices or sensors or, like, any of the machine generating data, then you can use MDE, which is called manufacturing data engine. This helps you to bring the data from IoT devices and so on. So for processing, there are multiple services available. One of the services is data flow, through which you can create the processing logics. Then you have data proc, which comes with a open source flavor. Then we have something called data prep, which is helpful for preparing the data. Cleansing the data can be done using this particular service. For storage, typically we have two services. One is called Google Cloud Storage, where you can store all the raw data in its native format, right? It can be the structured or semi-structured or unstructured data. Then you have BigQuery storage, which typically helps you in storing the structured data. Underneath, it uses the Colossus storage. Then we have BigQuery. As I mentioned, you can consider this as your analytics engine through which you can build various analysis. And finally, you have the activation layer, which is two important elements. One is your machine learning and AI. So what you currently see here is the cloud AI platform, which is called Vertex AI, which I'll be discussing in my next slide. Then we do have the business intelligence capability, which is offered through Looker. So Looker is a business intelligence tool through which you can build your reports, dashboards, visualizations, and so on. So I also wanted to highlight two more different services, and we have one more in addition. So which is called the Cloud Data Fusion, which is again a service which helps you in terms of collecting the data till it will help you in processing. It comes with a GUI through which you can do this. You can do both your ELT and ETL pipelines, which is like, you can extract, transform, and load the data, or you can extract, load, and then transform it. Dataplex is very important when it comes to any data projects, because Dataplex is a data governance service. So if you're not aware about data governance, in simpler terms, you wanted to know what your data is undergoing. So what are the business logic applied, from where I got this data, and who is using this data, what is all about the metadata, the data quality, all these are part of the data governance. And this can be accomplished using the Dataplex service. Finally, we have the Cloud Composer. Cloud Composer is nothing but it is a orchestrator which helps you to automate everything. So when I say everything, what does that mean is, when you're creating a job, it helps you to automatically run it from the capture till your activation, right? So you don't need to do any manual interventions here. So this is all about the whole data analytics pipeline, how it looks like, right? And the different services what we have. Now, very specifically, I would like to discuss about BigQuery. So most of you will be using BigQuery for the hackathon uh, to build different applications. So BigQuery is a flagship product of Google Cloud when it comes to data warehousing or data lake or data mart or data mesh. So the important things to keep in mind when it comes to BigQuery, there are two important things. One, the compute, which is your processing capability, and then your storage. Both of these elements are completely decoupled. And second thing is, in BigQuery, as a user, you will be seeing the data in a structured form. However, when you are loading or when you're inserting the data into BigQuery, it is stored in a format called capacitor, and underneath it shows in a columnar fashion. Because of that, it performs like high-end querying, as well as it provides the results in a very faster way. And behind the scene, BigQuery uses petabit of network, so that always the processing are very faster, and the size at which the data comes in and the frequency at which the data comes in will not be a challenge in BigQuery. It can handle any amount of data in any format and in any size. So there are a couple of things you also can see from my slide here to keep it in mind. Any data, when it comes to the Google Cloud Platform, it will get automatically encrypted. That is the first thing to keep it in mind. Also, BigQuery has a capability of processing the data in real time as well as in batch. It provides both the capabilities for you. And the interesting thing to know about BigQuery, BigQuery will not act only as a data warehouse, but it also has the capability of machine learning, which is called as BigQuery ML. Then we do have something called a BA engine, which is the business intelligence engine, which is integrated within the BigQuery. So, for example, when you try to build a dashboard using Looker or any other products like Power BI or Tableau or whatsoever it is, the BA engine in BigQuery can get integrated seamlessly, which helps you in building various reports and dashboard. And also, you can build the self-service dashboards and self-service, like data visuals and so on. So all this can be achieved with the integration of BigQuery with other BA products, and specifically like Looker, Tableau, Power BI. So the other thing to keep it in mind is BigQuery support almost all the data types, including geographical data points, the geopoints, geospatial data, the nested tables, and so on. So when I talk about the data warehouse, we uses BigQuery. While I talk about the data lake, we uses two services. One is the Google Cloud Storage plus BigQuery. This helps you to store both unstructured and structured and semi-structured data. So even you can store within the data lake your images, videos, audios, and so on. So it has this capability. So as I mentioned in my previous slide, BigQuery also provides a capability of machine learning. What does that mean? So today there are different products available in the market which helps you in terms of building machine learning. But using BigQuery ML, you really don't need to understand Python code or R code or anything. So what it does exactly is it is something you can imagine that there are pre-trained models which are tested and which are like used by different enterprises for their production is available. So as a user, what you will be typically doing is that when your data is available within the data warehouse, which is nothing but your BigQuery, you can call all the models. So we currently have more than 25 plus models. So I have put some of them here. You can see in the classification we have a logistic regression, DNN classifier, XGBoost, auto tables, and so on. And when it comes to regressions, we have you can again see the wide and deep NNS, Then there are a lot of other models. So depending on your business need or based on your application need, you can just call the models directly in your SQL code. So the base minimum we required is the SQL knowledge to work on this. So far, what we discussed is all about data engineering, and we have also seen what are the different services available in Google Cloud when it comes to data engineering and analyzing and in terms of activation. Now, I'll be specifically going to discuss about AI. So today in Google machine learning, there are two different services which we offer. So one is use our models. So when I say use our models, what does that mean is Google as an organization has trained and built a lot of models for different enterprises. If you know about the different organizations within Google and the parent company Alphabet, we do have an organization called DeepMinds. So DeepMinds mainly focuses on artificial intelligence and building the different AI products. Even the outcome of Gen AI models are from them, right? So in that particular department, we have domain experts who understand the business, who build the models based on the business requirements and so on. So what we did was like all the models, whatever we built for different businesses, it can be telecom or retail or e-commerce, healthcare, whatsoever it is. The data models or the algorithms, whatever we build, is tested on those domain or those industry data, and it has given results seamlessly. So if you ask me, is day one we got the results? No, it undergone a lot of fine tuning, it gone multiple training data and so on. So today, based on our experiences and expertise, we have all these models which can serve any customers from day one. So for using our own models, typically we are not expecting anyone to have the complete knowledge about data science or machine learning. The base minimum required is understanding about what is the business problem and how to use the APIs or how to call the APIs on the data set, because your deployments, your trainings are all auto processed, right? So if you think, okay, so this is something which we already did it, and you wanted to build your own models or you wanted to train your own data sets and so on, which we call it as citizen data scientist, then we do provide the workbench where you can build your own models, you can train it, you can deploy it. So we provide both options for you. So typically, any AI lifecycle, it undergoes multiple layers, but I am just putting in a very simplified way. First, you need to understand what is the problem statement you are trying to solve. And second thing, you'll be looking for the data. Or this data a valid data? So once the data is valid and you think it's a good to use data, or if there is a data with the noises, you will be doing the data cleansing process. So once that is done, you will have a clean data or normalized data on which you will be understanding the different patterns which is required for you to make different insights. So how come the insights comes in, right? It undergoes different thought process or in design thinking in terms of this is my input and what is output expected and how you wanted this output to be. For example, the more the clean and the more the different sources of data we have, the more the accurate and the more the the productive results are, right? So always I believe when it comes to AI, if you give a proper data with clean data, you will get really good and accurate results. But on the other hand, if you are giving a junk data, you will get a junk output. So you need to ensure that the data is clean and validated. So once this is done, you will be doing the labeling based on the problem statement, because you have supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement based models and so on. So understanding the problem statement and the data sets you have, whether it is labeled or not, then you will be building your algorithms, and you will be just testing the algorithm with the different data sets to see the accuracies. So you will keep on tuning your algorithms, as well as you will just try with different training data sets to get more accurate results. Then you will call that as best model. This is how the typical the AI life cycle works, which typically takes months today. Like, if you go with this approach, like, understanding what the data is, cleaning all the data, understanding the business logic to make everybody's life seamless, and also to make it more productive and speed. That is where Google comes with these offerings. As I mentioned, the flagship product what we provide when it comes to machine learning and AI is Vertex AI. So you have three different offerings, what you are currently seeing on my screen. The first one is the pre-trained APIs. For this, there is no training data needed. You can start using this model right away. You are just going to call the APIs. The next one is AutoML. For this, you really don't need to do any coding. The models are already available, but you should know what is your input and what is your output expected. Then the third one is the core AI platform, which is mainly for the citizen data scientist, where you can build your own algorithms, models. You can train yourself these data sets. So there are a lot of list of models which are available, but I have specifically chosen some of them based on the content of commerce and e-commerce and healthcare. So you have site, and inside you have vision APIs, and you have video intelligence API. When it comes to language, you have natural language APIs, translation APIs, and so on. Then when it comes to conversation, you have text to speech, speech to text, and for chatbots, you have dialog flow. Then you have for structure, you will have AutoML tables, recommendations AI, and inferences, and so on. These are available for you, which is ready to consume when it is about building any applications. Now, to keep in mind, always the BigQuery and the Vertex AI go hand in hand because of various reasons. One is that data analytics and ML can be achieved by BigQuery itself, because, as I mentioned, the one is collection, data collection, analyzing it, and the third one is your machine learning. As I mentioned, in BigQuery, you have a service called BigQuery ML, in which you can do machine learning when it is structured data. And if you think you have a complicated use case which involves a lot of unstructured data, it can be videos, PDFs, or so, then we would recommend to use Vertex AI. And most of the data engineers heavily use a Spark. So Spark is again available within Google Cloud in a serverless fashion, which can be used for data analytics and machine learning purposes. And it is again coupled with the workbench, where you can call your PySpark or the Spark codes directly. And all the workflows which you are creating for your machine learning models can be again integrated with the MLOps service, right? Through which you will be able to or seamlessly ensure that your models are running continuously without any manual intervention and giving the right insights in terms of making the decision. So one of the key component to keep it in mind is, as I mentioned, we provide serverless Spark, and it is not only available in Vertex AI, but also it is available for data processing, as well as in terms of data governance. So we have integrated this with some of our services, which you can see on my screen. BigQuery, Vertex AI Dataplex is the governance element, then Dataproc again for processing. And typically, all your machine learning models, whatever you are deploying, this is getting deployed in the Kubeflow pipelines, right? And if in case you're a citizen data scientist and wanted to build Python or R based code, you can always do that, because within the workbench you have these offerings available as collabs. Using the collabs, you will be able to build all the models. So now we will specifically discuss about some of the use cases around e-commerce and healthcare. So one of the key thing which I would consider is, like, when it comes to e-commerce, is building a customer data platform. So before we get into what is customer data platform, I wanted to tell you a couple of things, right? So one is, like, when it is e-commerce, we understand, depending on businesses, and depending, the e-commerce can be applicable across multiple business lines. It can be even in the retail, they do the e-commerce business, even in the, you know I can say the e-commerce based groceries are coming up, and a lot of other industries as well. So based on to the industry, you can decide what kind of data today they are having. Let me take a simple example of customer data platform in terms of retail. So when it is a retail business, the different sources or the different data assets which we can expect can be: one, you will have information about people who are buying the products from their website, so which means website is one of the data source for you. Then you will have CRM system where always your customer informations will be stored. Then as a customer, when you're buying a product, you will always give you the description about your you know product, the products which you are buying, and you'll also provide your address for which the product to be dispatched, and lot of information related to your buying like, the products and so on, and the payment methods and so on. Same time, the enterprise or the retail shop will also have information from where you are buying this product. For example, are you buying the retail, for example, it can be chain, so they will have information from which location you are purchasing this, and how many products people are purchasing on that particular brand. All this information will be available from the business. Now, what are we trying to do here is we try to bring all this data, which is specifically about customers. So customer data platform is all about bringing customers data into one single platform. So when I say the single platform, it is going to be BigQuery. And in this, you will see a golden record, or I can say, a 360 view of a customer. So for example, Jitin as a customer, what is his behavior, how, like, how many products is he buying whenever he comes to the website, right? And how frequently he is visiting, and how frequently he is adding the products to the cart, and how many products he purchase after adding to the cart. Is he making online payment, or he making cash on delivery? So you will get to know all this information from various sources. It can be from either the website, or it can be from the application portal, or it can be from the CRM. Even we can get some of the data points from third parties as well. So we bring all this data here, and on top of that, we build various use cases, right? So when I say use cases, these use cases can be, prediction. So prediction of sales can be one of the use case. You can say that, like, for example, Jitin has bought, like, shoes from Adidas. Like every month he is buying, and he's buying the shoes the first week, or sorry, the last week of every month, because that is the time when he's getting his salary, and he uses his credit card. Now, understanding this particular pattern, the machine learning models can predict when Jitin is going to buy the next shoe. And based on my buying behavior, which color shoes I'm buying more, it will also tells you Jitin may be buying a black color or a white color shoe between this duration. All right, that can be one of the use case. The other use cases can be, like, we can do market basket analysis. For example, let us say that for example, Google Pixel mobile is launched, and maybe Google is also planning to launch another product. So the market basket analytics is all about, like, how, what product to be given as a combo. All right. So for example, when people buy a toothbrush, it's always recommended to give a toothpaste as well, because we know this is how it works. All right. So those recommendations can be also made out of these data sets. using machine learning capability. So when I say machine learning, I'm talking about Vertex AI here, right? Using the product Vertex AI and the different algorithms. Even you can understand, like, the different elements. For example, based on my buying pattern, the business can think about, like, what kind of campaign needs to be executed for each targeted people. So, for example, Jitan, if he is getting a campaign via email, he will not be liking it. Whereas he will like if somebody give a promotion to him via WhatsApp or via SMS, he will immediately look into it and he will come to the website. So, understanding the user behavior, how to make them very active within the platform, is another thing which we do. Then it is all about personalized recommendation, which each one of us like it. For example, based on my buying pattern, you can push products to me based on my color preferences, based on my buying pattern, and so on. So these are some of the interesting use cases which can be implemented on top of this platform using the capabilities of machine learning and AI, right? Then you can also do the data monetization as one of the business. For example, today you have different customer data. Applying the GDPR compliant, some of these data sets can be used by airlines or for, like, movies or so on. So this can be, again, from the business perspective, a new revenue stream can be created, right? So these are some of the things. So what you currently see on my screen is, like, how the real-time customer data platform works. So you will collect the data, then you will use it for you'll add other informations like marketing, location, so on, and you will be able to provide personalized content and, like, relevant content for the right targeted audience, which make the customers happy. Meanwhile, you can also use the data with their consent, or by applying the GDPR compliance, this data can be used for creating a new revenue stream. For example, the retail customer is planning to start a fast food uh, you know uh, fast food center or something. He can use this particular data and he can start promoting his new business as well. So this is how the data analytics platforms typically helps the business in growing. The other use case which I would like to bring to your attention is, we have a service called Discovery AI. When you are using the Google Cloud Console, you will be able to see this. So what it exactly does is that, let us assume that your customer, or you are a e-commerce company, like, for that matters, assume a retail company. So you are selling your products through, like, from your website, and you wanted to increase your customers. There are multiple options. The one which we discussed in the last slide is about, like, collecting the data and giving promotions, loyalties, and blah blah blah. Now this is another solution in which, like, we take the input based on the logs and the events. When I say the events, the number of people visited the website and how much time each people spent on those website, and in which page and in which product, we will be understanding that. Then we will also understand the product catalog, which is having the different product information. Now what we will do is that we will also bring the Google searches based on the geography. If the customer belong to Saudi Arabia, what you can do is, what kind of search people are doing on Google. Somebody searching for, like, blue color Adidas shoes. This is one of the search which is typically happening, then which means there is a good potential market for shoes, Adidas shoes, in Saudi Arabia. So based on that, what it does is, like, internally the algorithm will do a recommendation to the customer, which is a retailer. There is a good market trend happening for blue color shoes. Try to have this in your website. So this is one of the insight which will be given to the business. The same time, when you are searching into the Google search, it will redirect you to the same retailer. For example, it can be XYZ retailer, right? So it will give you the information. So So typically, the retail search engine provides you the information about the products available based on your search, and it will try to bring, like for example, assume that I'm, for example, Jarir, right, which is in Saudi Arabia. So if they are my customers and you are looking for any specific products which is available in Jarir, that will be showing up to you at very quick. Even like during your Google search, it will come up for you as Jarir as the recommendation. So this will actually increase the customer base for Jarir. Now, this can be done in multiple ways. For example, if you use Google Lens, you can search for products. Even during your search, it will recommend you to buy this from Jarir, right? Even if, for example, let us assume that you are going for a party, and in the party you found some of your friends are using a new gadgets. What you can do is like using the Google Lens, you can take a picture and it will show you this similar product is available near you in Jarir. So those kind of recommendations as well it will be doing. Underneath, it uses again the machine learning and Vertex capabilities. So these are some of the capabilities when it comes to e-commerce which can be used. Then when it comes to healthcare, there are a lot of things. Healthcare is a ocean and there are different umbrellas within healthcare, starting from diagnostic, genomics, patient monitoring, and even insurances are part of healthcare, right? So you can do multiple implementations or use cases. Some of the very common and impactful use cases are understanding the patient's information about, like what kind of tests they have undergone and what would be the next disease or what is the possibility he's going to get sick. That is one. And understanding the behavior pattern of his, like the results of body checkup whatever he has undergone. It can compare against multiple similar pattern of data, and it can recommend this person has high possibility of getting this disease. And based on the data points, it can also recommend, you can prescribe this medicine to this person so that they can able to recover very faster based on the previous data sets and previous examples whatever we trained the model on. And you can use even the IoT based sensors to understand the heartbeat of the patients on real time in the patient monitoring. All right. So these can help you in terms of understanding where their thresholds are going on, what is the possibility they will fall sick at what point in time. So these are very much essential when it comes to healthcare. And we can also do a personalized medication for them based on the similarity. For example, a person called ABC at the age of 15 has this diseases, and these are the test reports. Now there is a person called EDC who is of the same age, had this disease, and he got this as the next one. So you can understand the similarities, and you can also predict what is the possible diseases and how sooner you can cure. This is one. And in the area of genomics, there are a lot of things. For example, we do DNA sequencing, protein structure monitoring, then on regulatory complaints, there are a lot of things. When it comes to diagnostic, you can do a lot of things in terms of life science, like which medicine is good for whom, and how much medicines we need to store it in terms of prediction. And based on the seasonality data and based on the population data, you can understand what is the possibility of getting the diseases and what is the medications to be planned. All this can be done. When it comes to insurance, it's a good area because there are multiple use cases on insurance. One of them can be the contact center, which helps you in terms of understanding. Or for example, let us say that you are having an insurance requirement, you can reach out to the contact center and it can give you seamless answer 24 bar 7, right? So you don't need to wait for humans today, because the contact center AI, or like AI machine learning based solutions which behaves like human, but they are not actually humans, and it will provide you the right information. Then, for example, when there are incidents or accidents, you should be able to submit the images of those, and it can understand the reality. Like, if there is a false image, or like, what is the severity of the accident, this can be extracted from the image analytics, through which the insurance teams can actually provide the right claims. Even they can see based on the images whether somebody is saying that the lorry hit it, but it may be like something else. So they can able to identify based on the dents and bends from the images. It can provide the claims accordingly, right? So these are some of the interesting use cases when it comes to healthcare industry. Now we are into the last phase of the discussion, which is like, when it comes to data and AI, there is always a innovation, and it is going to be an unimaginable innovation is what we are looking. So that is nothing but the Gen AI. So far, we have seen the data, the descriptive analytics, we talked about predictive analytics. The new era of AI is all about generative AI. And as the name suggests, Gen AI is nothing but creating new ideas, creating new content in a generative fashion, or generating new ideas, generating new thoughts, right? So Gen AI uses large language models, which means that the large language models are nothing but these are models which are trained on different corpuses. When I say corpuses, these are documents, text, codes, and so videos, images, and so on. Right. So the large language model today, what Google provides, is trained heavily on all the different data types, including 57 subject areas, and Google Gen AI model has competed one of the very toughest exam, which is the medical examination of US, and it has made a history of scoring the highest, which never happened in the history of medical world, right? And for more the complex question, it was able to get the scores perfectly. So you can imagine today large language models are used by different customers for different use cases, because you really don't need to know the technology, or you don't need to write a SQL or anything. You just wanted to know how to write English, which is the prompt. You can ask in the prompt the inputs. For example, you can provide the inputs as a prompt. Can you tell me how to write a SQL code for joining two tables, and these are my two tables? It will give you everything, because the models are trained on the code. Now you can also ask the question. Let us assume that you have a data warehouse using the capability of Gen AI today, with all the products, whatever we have in data services are completely coupled with Gen AI. So you can ask a question: what is the sales happened for last 2 quarters? So typically the natural language processing, the NLP, convert this English text into SQL, and it will provide you the insights. So typically a business user, or a CIO of an organization, or a CEO of an organization don't need to ask IT team to give the data. Rather, he can ask this question directly to the database just by prompting it. So today Google provides multiple flavors. So the key product is like, the key model what we have is POM2 model. So POM2 model is trained on text, documents, codes, images, and so on. And for application developers, we have something called Code A. Code A is about code which uses, where you can ask questions about any programming questions. It will be able to give you the complete code which you can copy and paste, and you can run it. And Imagen is another model through which you can build photos, and you can add photos, you can create new photos, and so on, right? And for the consumers, you have Bard. I'm not sure how many of you use Bard. If you have not used it, it's a very interesting product. Just go and Google Bard. It will give you a console where you can ask any questions. It will able to provide you the response if it is available publicly, the data is available publicly, or if you're asking questions which are like, open ended, unless otherwise it is not anything against ethics, right? It will be able to provide the information for you. And today the body is again integrated with all the Google products. Like, when I say all the Google products, the one Google product, like Google Flights, search, maps, and everything. So you can ask questions and you will definitely enjoy it. Then we have Do It AI, which is again an interface through which you'll be asking the questions to the softwares, which is called, which I was talking to you. For example, a CEO wanted to ask a question, right? And he will be asking this question in Do It AI. Then we have two specific modules, which is called MedPalm, which is mainly for medical world, and we have SecPalm, which is mainly for security. So these are two additional offerings which we have in addition to the Palm 2 models in app builders. So what you currently see on my screen is how the offering of GenAI is provided today. So GenAI is part of Vertex AI today in Google Cloud. So we have generative AI studio where the application builders can come and develop it. Then we have APIs, you can call the APIs directly. Then we do have model garden in which you can pick the model which is required for you to build the application on specifically for your need, right? And finally, we have this generative AI app builder in which you have conversation AI, which is like a chatbot. You have to just pass on your documents, which means you can call this document from BigQuery or from Google Bucket, or you can even upload the documents and it will get trained and you can ask questions. For example, the conversation AI is a use case which you can use both in healthcare as well as in e-commerce. It's a quick win. Just like within 1 or 2 hours, you can build a very nice bot which can answer any questions. Then you have enterprise search, which is like a search engine like Google. You're building for your organization. So if anyone of you are planning to build any search engine, you can use this capability. You have to upload the documents in Google cloud storage bucket and using the enterprise search capability, which we today called as Vertex conversation and enterprise search, through which you can ask the question, it will be able to give you the responses. So you can even upload the thousands or millions of records and it will not just give you the information from the document. What it does is like it will understand the question, it will give you the summary of the particular question, like in the answer, and it will also give you the reference, so which means it give you a summary and citation from which page this information it took and where this page is, which document it is. All this information it will be providing. And conversation AI and enterprise search are very interesting use case for both healthcare and e-commerce, and you can build this in few hours. So then we have dedicated solutions specifically for different verticals. For healthcare, we have healthcare AI. Then retail, we have discovery AI. There are different products. So in addition to what we discussed, we also provide open model. So for example, Llama 2 from Meta is also available within Google ecosystem. Then we have Falcon model for Arabic and Cloudy 2 as well. So all these open models are available within Gen AI offerings of Google Cloud. And we provide grounding. Grounding is nothing but it will tell you the fact and along with the references. So these are available for you in terms of Gen AI. So some of the interesting use cases which you can build using Gen AI are creating new content for customer service. You can create chatbots which can answer 24/7 with the right information. With you can ask questions related to the content what you trained on. Right, it will provide you seamless user interface. Then you can create like in a creative content. For example, you're planning to launch a new product, or if you want to create a user manual, you just give the information about this is a product I'm planning to launch in this geography in this color. It will create the whole content for you. You just give 5 lines, it will give you 500 lines with very creative information. And it also helps you in terms of building operational insights as well. When I talk about operational insights, like running any reports, everything is automated today. So these are some of the use cases, but again, depending on what you're planning to build, it can be leveraged. So I'm in my last slide, and Gemini is massive multitasking large language model. It supports today like around 40 plus languages, and it helps you in terms of not only text and code but also video, audio, and everything. And Gemini recently got Google has officially signed the contract with Samsung. In all the Samsung S24 models, Gemini is integrated, and in the Play stores you can see now the Gemini versions are coming in for different offerings. Finally, we have the business intelligence. So whatever you build, you wanted to show this as a dashboard or a report. So we have Looker, which is the BA product, which helps you in building the dashboards, reports, and charts, and so on. And also we have something called Looker Studio, which helps you to build dashboards seamlessly. There are multiple products under the brand Looker. Looker is one. You have Looker Pro, you have Looker Studio. So Looker Studio is a free product, which is something like using Google people Sheets or Google Doc. You will just drag and drop. You will create your dashboards, and all these are integrated with our data services. But if you have some data in Excel or if it is available in a database, still you can integrate here in Looker Studio. So that's all what I have for today. I'll just take a minute. If in case you have questions, I'm happy to answer it. Any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, thank you so much and enjoy rest of your day and all the very best for the session, and happy to uh you know hear from you guys. If there are anything, you can just drop us an email. Thank you so much. Thank you all.